2022 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Look at that one. Okay, it's going to be the final card. All right. Put this down here, I guess. Alrighty then, let me just collect all these other cards. The heart of the matter is the Justice card. This is a card that can be literally some kind of a legal case that you're awaiting the decision, or you are dealing with the aftermath of the case, or in the midst of it. In other words, you see that there's a little person standing there in this big looming figure, because it's kind of like this idea of almost like powerlessness over this outer body, whether it's in our government or something, that it is going to decide your future or what have you. But that's not the only thing that this could represent. First of all, it represents a sign of Libra. The other sign, like you, that is ruled by Venus. So if you have a Libra person in your life, but it's this idea of fairness, fair play in the office, fair play in relationships. Are you giving too much and getting too little back? Do you feel drained? Do you feel used by somebody? But the interesting thing with Taurus is that sometimes Taurus people see things in a material way, especially if you also have Venus in Taurus, where you may believe that love is tit for tat, that you do give to get, or any type of relationship. And so you may have to alter that. Maybe you have a faulty idea of what love is supposed to be about. In the past position, we have the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles. This is Taurus. That's why he's sitting on the bull. But I got the King of Pentacles, and that had a bull on it too. And I found out recently that that the King of Pentacles is Taurus. Pentacles is all earth signs, but so the Knight of Pentacles is that very steady type of behavior that leads to success by being consistent and just diligent and hard worker and things like that. And what could happen, because here, let me bring out the card here that is the challenge card. We have the Nine of Swords. So this is a card of anxiety for some reason. If you have gotten, and it's funny because in this deck, it's almost like the Ten of Swords, which is betrayal and things like that. And so it almost makes me wonder if some of you have had some situations, if you're working for somebody else, where you didn't get the promotion. Somebody else waltzed in who just, didn't have the same amount of time as you did in the workplace or what have you, and they got the brass ring, and you feel that sense of injustice. And the interesting thing about this is that how I personally see the situation is that things are fair at a higher level. And what that means is that you know how they say water seeks its own level. It may be that you're not meant to be in a certain place. Maybe it means that people don't realize that your abilities matter, that they have the value that they have. Sometimes people get valued above somebody else because they're flashy, because they're, entertaining in a very obvious way. Taurus tends to be one of those understated signs, and a lot of the things that you excel in are things that sometimes can be taken for granted. Being a consistent person, that's not something that is necessarily commonplace. There's a lot of flaky behavior that goes around where people say they're going to do broken promises and not being consistent in terms of their own goals. Like, some people, they say they want to do something and then they go and do something else, and they leave projects undone. And if they're working with other people, then they let those people down because they're just pulling out of something. So you have to value yourself. You can't look to other people to tell you your worth. And the Justice card may be that you feel something is unfair, or maybe you're even doing something about it, but you have to also, regardless of what happens, ultimately, you have to still be at peace with it. And this card is, anxiety maybe ramping up. And if it's something with a relationship, maybe there's a person that you're with because they are very safe and they're predictable, but they're not necessarily the one for you, and you know it at a deeper level. The higher message is the Queen of Cups, and this is your psychic abilities or your creative abilities. I think that they're kind of one and the same sometimes. But perhaps you have to build up those more in your life. Maybe you've been doing something that isn't really aligned with the kind of talents that you possess. And it's time to honor your gifts in some way. In love, if this is a situation where you're getting divorced and it's giving you anxiety, the Queen of Cups is really about tuning into that higher self, and you know what's right for you. Something's making you feel uncomfortable, keeping you up at night. Actually, this card can be insomnia. Then you know it's toxic. And you don't even have to be a psychic to figure that out. What's coming in? The Lover's card. It's funny that I think this is a very interesting depiction. There's kind of this hippie vibe coming from it. This can be a choice, and I noticed that the sun is in the back of her head. It's kind of like the pineal gland, that inner wisdom, the third eye, the knowingness of what is really true for you. And that choice, when you really know what is true for you, your decisions are made with confidence. It might be that you're at the fork in a road where you have to make a decision about a relationship, about the direction of your career or the direction of your gifts, like where, which way are you going? And it's possible that where you're at right now is not where you're meant to be. The outcome, 6 of Swords. Moving away from conflict, seeking peace. I don't know. In this deck, they show, it looks like they're walking. But in the Rider-Waite deck, they show them in a boat, like rowing away. And I think there's smoke in the background, like there's some kind of a fire or war that they're getting away from and seeking peace, seeking asylum. And it sounds like that's what you're going to do. And maybe things are a little bit hot right now. Maybe there is some kind of battle that you're undergoing, whether it's an internal battle or a legal battle. But when you think about what the goal is peace. It's interesting. The last two cards that I picked were both sixes. The Lover's card and the Six of Swords. Six is ruled by Venus, and that's your ruler. You know, Venus is about peace and beauty. It's about love. If you don't have love, then you don't have peace. I mean, in a situation, if it's not a harmonious situation, then it's an unpeaceful situation, obviously. So, what is the value of love and harmony? What is it worth to you, Taurus? All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.